In the year 1914, J.W. Church wrote an article for Harper's Magazine on Tangier Island. At that time, he noted, there were just under 100 oystermen on the island and 120-some crabbers. Over 1,400 people lived on Tangier Island, spread out over 8 villages. 500 of them had the last name of Crockett. 2 centuries earlier, in the 1700s, a man named Post traded 2 overcoats to a local Indian chief for the islands, and later brought 3 families over from England to settle there: the Crocketts, Pruitts, and Parks.
People don't realize, we've been doing this for our families. Like I said, my family came to Tangier from the mid-1700s, and that's all we know, and that's what we love to do. That's how I love to work and provide for my family is off of this Chesapeake Bay.
Tangier Island has been settled since at least the 18th century, maybe earlier. Its spot of fame was in the War of 1812 when the British were blockading the Chesapeake Bay, and they chose Tangier Island as sort of their headquarters, as where the flagship anchored and where they camped ashore, and they built a fort. And there were already people living there, and there were already Methodists there who were ministering to these preaching to these people, including one, Joshua Thomas, who said, "You will go down in defeat when you go attack Baltimore." And he's still remembered on Tangier to this day for that sermon. Before the British troops. He did this to the British troops.
The prophecy from the preacher came true, and the British, failing to take Fort McHenry, were defeated at Baltimore and forced to retreat. The sight of the American flag flying proudly above Fort McHenry throughout the entire attack inspired a young lawyer named Francis Scott Key to write a poem about the battle. That poem would later become the United States national anthem. Two centuries after Joshua Thomas and his famous sermon, Tangier Island remains a community sustained by the body of water that surrounds it. With the last working Chesapeake Bay Buyboat decommissioned, each deadrise from Tangier Island must transport their oyster catch on their own.
Lately, we've had to do a lot more running to sell our oysters. We used to come right in here to the island's harbor and put them on a buyboat, and they would ferry them over to the western shore. Now we're running to Saxus, which is nearly an hour from the dredge dock where we get our oysters from, and then an hour to an hour and 10 minutes back to the island. We were burning 8 to 10 gallons of fuel a day before our buyboat got shut down. Now we're burning 30 to 34 a day.
Watermen from all over the Chesapeake Bay are at the mercy of rising fuel prices, harvesting restrictions, and the ever-changing market for oysters, having very little say on how the fishery is regulated.
I've been talking to watermen in my capacity at the Maritime Museum for decades, and I have what they call the book knowledge. I've been to the university, I've got my degrees, I study this all the time, and yes, I've got some expertise on this, but not in a way of having experienced it day after day on the water for every year of my adult life. There is great value in decision-making, or at least in getting the input about future regulation in the fisheries, to having the scientists and the policymakers and the watermen around the same table, because they do learn from each other. They do pick up things that, in my training, in my experience, the other doesn't have.
feel like working on the water, even though we have regulations, but there's still a sense of freedom. You know, you plant your feet on that workboat of a morning, you go out and you go haul or fish, you go out oystering. It's just a sense that you're backing out of that slip and you're out in the bay and you're to yourself and you're just doing your thing. But the world is portraying now you can only be something or do something only if you have a college degree, and I think that is so far off, you know, that I know plenty of people with college degrees that are so unhappy in their work, hate their job. To me, what I do, loving what I do, is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, just loving what I'm doing. And couldn't picture myself doing anything else, and I certainly don't have a college degree. I got a high school education, which is considered nothing nowadays. What did you do with the rest of son? Yeah, we got 2 more jugs. Well, you gotta watch the flow. You're watching the wrong way, dude. Look, dude, you gotta watch over here.
When I grow up, I think I want to be a crab potter. Or, yeah, something like that. Well, something that involves water, I know that. Well, oystering, I don't like it now. Well, I mean, I like it a little bit, but not much. It's very cold. But when I get older, that'd probably change. Not the part of it being cold, but
The next generation of Tangiermen doesn't always see a future in this work, which is why a lot of the kids move off the island after they graduate school. They don't see a future in it. So Tangier is still reliant on the water, but there are just fewer people there who are doing it. The water trade can't support the number of watermen that it once did on Tangier. At one point, Tangier had a population of over 1,000. And that's dwindled. It's less than half of that, maybe a little more than a third of that now.
I love this with all my heart, working on the water, living on Tangier, the lifestyle. I thank the good Lord that He created me to be a waterman. I like the simplicity of this life. Even though as watermen we endure weather, hardship, it's still a good life. It's still a simple life. You go to work, I hop on my scooter or a bicycle or a golf cart and I ride home. It's not the rush hour traffic or the crime that's in some of these cities or towns. It's like we're separated from the world. And we are. We are separated from the world. We're out here in the middle of the bay. We're on this small, tiny island. Everybody knows everybody.
even though this island's very small, there's still a lot of stuff on it. I mean, like, a lot of people don't, like, have all this water and all this stuff. Like, I mean, like, that wouldn't be no fun at all, just be cramped up in a city, no. Now, I honestly don't prefer that.
When I was a kid and we got out on the beach with my grandmother, I used to have to run out to get to the water. I mean, run. And then when you got to the water, it was 2 feet deep for 50 yards. But it's all gone now, all gone.
We are washing away. If we don't soon get surrounded by rock, we are washing away, and I've read the comments, let the island go, move the people off. You know, people that grow up in a town or just a neighborhood, we're different. We know everybody on this island. We've grew up from kids we watched who were old when we were young that are, you know, passed away, and their kids grow up. Just the idea that my 8-year-old can ride around this whole island on his little scooter anytime he wants, and I'm not got to worry about him. I never worry about him as far as, you know, you see some of the sick things in this world. Got a 2-year-old coming up. When he hits 4 or 5 years old and he wants to ride over to Pops and Nana's on his bicycle, I'm not gonna worry about him. I know he's okay. That's hard to beat.
Would you live anywhere else?
No, I would not live anywhere else than where I'm at. I got 4 kids in the school here. I got a wife, house, good job. I love this life. I love it right to death.